here, and it's a little bit louder than the last one. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Gladstone City Council on April 28, 2025. Madam Clerk, please note that all council members are present. Next, I invite all of you to please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recover.
Thank you. Members of the VFW Post 10906, Carla Gleaton, Charlie Graham, Gordon Harris, and Jim Cox. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes required or requested of the agenda this evening? Seeing none, the agenda is approved as printed. Item number 5 is approval of the April 14, 2025 closed city council meeting minutes.
Mayor Smith.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the approval of the April 14, 2025 closed city council meeting minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6, approval of the April 14, 2025 regular city council meeting minutes.
Mayor Smith.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the approval of the April 14, 2025 regular city council meeting minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. So before we get started, first I'd like to see a show of hands of those who wish to address the council this evening. Okay. I thought there would be more than that. So what we'll do is generally procedure for the city council is to take communications from the audience for items that are not on our agenda. However, with the circumstances before us, without objection, I believe we'd like to allow communications from those who wish to speak on item number 12, I believe, which is the issue regarding the most recent Gladstone City Council election. So before we do that, I'd like to ask, is there anyone who would like to speak to the council for an item that is not on our agenda? In other words, something other than item number 12. There is not. So with that, anyone who would like to address the city council on item number 12 on the agenda, please feel free to step forward. Do so now. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. Give us your name and address for the record. There is a scrolling color bar along the base of the TV. They will turn solid red when your 5 minutes is up.
For the record, my name is Molly Gibson. My address is 7212 North Highland Avenue. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and fellow Gladstone residents. I deeply appreciate having the opportunity to speak with you this evening. First, I want to acknowledge the seriousness of the matter before us and the responsibility that you carry making decisions that impact our community. I respect the city's laws and procedures, and I appreciate this chance to address the council and the citizens. I am Molly Gibson, and I won the election for the city council seat with the most votes, 905 votes, from the people of Gladstone. This was not just a number. It represents the trust, the hopes, and the voices of many of my neighbors who want to see our community thrive. I want to share a little bit with you about why Gladstone is so important to me. I'm raising my family here, and this city isn't just where we live. It's where we built our lives together. I've made friendships with neighbors who have become like family. And I've seen firsthand how we can support each other when times get hard. That spirit of care and connection is what makes Gladstone truly special. It's why I want to serve, to help preserve and strengthen that sense of community for my kids and for every family here. I want to bring to this seat the lived experience of someone who knows what it's like to juggle work and family. I know what it's like to budget down to the last dollar, to raise kids in this community, and to show up to serve others. I was raised in a union household. My father worked for General Motors for over 40 years. He instilled in me values that are grounded in resilience, in service, and in doing the right thing, even when it's hard. This experience has been extremely humbling to me, but it has also strengthened my commitment and my desire to serve Gladstone with honesty and with dedication. I believe that making mistakes does not define a person. It is how we own them and learn from them. The community has spoken clearly through their votes, and I have received overwhelming support from neighbors, community leaders, and local organizations. That support speaks volumes about the trust that they've placed in me to represent their interests and to work towards solutions that benefit all of Gladstone. I also want to share that many effective city council members start as average citizens. People without political backgrounds who simply care deeply about their community. They bring fresh perspectives, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to service that often leads to meaningful, practical improvements. I'm ready to do just that, to listen, to learn, and to work collaboratively to make Gladstone an even better place to live. I ask this council to consider not only the letter of the law, but also the spirit of democracy, the will of the people. I am ready and eager to serve, to listen, and to lead with integrity. If I am not sat on this council, the council risks missing out on a representative who truly reflects the voter's voice, a voice rooted in our neighborhoods, and a leader who brings fresh energy, transparency, and deep personal investment in Gladstone's future. I'm not here for politics. I'm here because this is my home. And it's where I want to shape it for all of us, now and for the generations to come. When I'm on this council, I will work tirelessly to advance initiatives to improve our city, from enhancing public safety and supporting local businesses to improving infrastructure and fostering community engagement. I am asking you tonight to do the right thing, to honor the voters' voice and seat me to this council so that I can do the work that they elected me to do. Thank you for your time, for your consideration, and for your service to our community.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council quickly on this issue?
Yeah, I'll do that. My name is Cody McElroy. I live at 202 Northeast 74th Terrace. And I do have various positions throughout the city or organizations, but I come as a citizen tonight. I've run in 3 of these elections, and unfortunately, this is probably one of our smaller turnouts, I think about 1,700, but I hope I understand that what the council is going through is a interesting process. But I do hope that you honor, or at least find a way to honor, the will of the 905 people that did vote for Ms. Molly Gibson. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Bilstein. I live at 1418 Northeast 69th Terrace. I didn't prepare anything because I've never been to one of these. My only frame of reference is Parks and Rec. So But I thought it was important to come this time because I voted for Molly. And I know a lot of people voted for Molly. And it just feels as though the democracy here that this country and this city is supposed to be running off of is threatened right now. And I wanted to appeal to you to try and uphold that democracy and to listen to me and to everyone else who wants a representative that they can relate to in Molly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ma'am.
Also didn't prepare anything. I'm Sarah Patton. I live at 3913 Northeast 59th Street. And I'm just also here to ask you guys to, to allow us to have the representative that we elected. I know that what the law states, and, if Molly was ineligible at the time of the election, over as, tangential matter, an oversight, and the council does need to appoint somebody to fill that seat. Please appoint the person that was elected. Appoint the person that won all of our votes.
All right, thank you. See, I knew there were more than just the one person who raised their hand. It's contagious.
My name is Erin Samick. I actually live at 1131 South Liberty Drive in Liberty, Missouri. I don't live here, but I do work. I do have a business in Gladstone. I am not, obviously not able to vote for Molly. I have no horse in this race. My concern is the democratic process. And my understanding is that there's some question about when the election ended. Whether or not she was eligible is not up for debate. We already know that she was eligible to be on the ballot, right? We all agree on that?
We do.
Yes. She was not in arrears at the time that she filed. She filed on December 27th. She failed to pay her personal property tax on December 31st. As a lot of people have done, I've done it. Comes at the holidays, you forget to pay it. Your mortgage pays for everything else, and your bank pays for that automatically, and you just forget about it. She owed what I want to make sure everyone understands, everyone in this room understands, and as I'm sure you do, I'm not sure the people behind me do, is that the statute states that she cannot be in arrears on her city taxes. She owed less than $63 to the city of Gladstone, and when she was made aware, she paid them as soon as she was back in town. That was before the election was certified. She paid them on April 14th. The election was certified on the 16th of April. So if you need to do what you need to do and declare the seat vacant in order to appoint someone to meet what your interpretation of the law is, okay, do that. But then your appointment should be the person who won that seat, not Mr. Garnos, who if you're declaring the seat vacant, I'm confused as to why he's actually sitting. If no one was elected, I'm confused as to why he's actually sitting on the council tonight. So that's my concern, being here, seeing what's happening tonight, and that no one has addressed it. I wanted to make sure that everyone in this room had those comments.
Absolutely, sure, thank you.
Thank you.
What our intent is to let all of you speak, and then when we get to the ordinance, our city attorney will go through all of the facts as we have them, and hopefully clear everything up for you. Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't prepared either. My name's Sandy Hudson. I live at 2622 Northeast 74th Street. And I would just like to say this seems to be a part of the democracy that we all are so worried we're losing. And so I know there's rules. I'm a rule follower. I understand there's, this timeline. But I do think if somebody has to be appointed, Gladstone did vote for Molly. I voted for Molly. And I would like to see you all take that into consideration when you make an appointment.
Thank you. couldn't tell if he was coming for his daughter or if he was coming to the front. There we go. Okay, well, thank you all very much. And like I said, when we get to the item on the agenda, City Attorney Chris Williams will spell everything out. And, you know, Molly, I had a first election once, and I've lost once. And I can assure you winning is much more fun. But I cannot imagine, you know, what it must feel like to think you won and then to know that there's a technicality. And I know this is not what everyone wants to understand, to hear, but we have, and when we talk about rule of law, and I've read some of the posts that talk about rule of law and the Constitution, you can't decide when the Constitution matters. The state constitution is very clear on what the rules are. And until it has hit our agenda this evening, it has not risen to the level of council business. Now that it has risen to the level of council business, this council will need to decide what we're going to do going forward, and we will do that. But I do appreciate you all. We always talk about, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we could get more people to come to a council meeting? I think we figured out a way, but not exactly, you know, what I think everyone wanted for. But at this point, communications from the city council, and that would be Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have to say tonight is prayers and condolences to the family of Graham Hoffman, fallen firefighter from Sunday night. And keep him and his family in your prayers, please.
Mayor, thank you. I also wanted to recognize the loss of the firefighter paramedic. Also wanted to mention that the Parks Board and Board of Zoning Adjustment did not meet last week due to a lack of quorum. That's all I have.
Councilman Rasfalo.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to remind everyone on May 1st is the National Day of Prayer. That will be on the Gladstone City Hall steps from 12:15 to 12:45. So it's a lovely event. I try to attend every year, and Antioch Bible Baptist Church leads that event. So if you have time on your calendar, it's a meaningful event, so I urge you to attend. Also, Saturday, May 3, is the Glad Green Team again. And so as far as I know right now, we will be cleaning up 72nd Street North to the city limits, and we will meet at Walmart, and we will clean up from 8 to 10. So if any of you all are interested, please come and join us. Also, I was happy to join the mayor at a ribbon cutting at Nick's Lounge and Urban Winery last week. Very successful event, and if you all haven't had a chance to visit Nick's, I would urge you to do so. It's a great new business addition to the Gladstone community, so I think you will enjoy it.
Great point. Great point. They are in the building that used to be Fins and Foliage. I don't know if any of you were in there when it was a pet store. It is much different. They are actually the owners of Fence Style Winery in Excelsior Springs, and so they've opened a lounge. They do their own distilling and also some wines from Fence Style. It's a very quiet, open, laid-back atmosphere. I just go in and kind of chillax a bit, and they're really good folks. And then we also attended the Clay County Economic Development Council State of the Cities luncheon. There's a lot of exciting things going on, not just in Gladstone, but around the Northland that I think, you know, really bode well for our success. City Manager Bob Baer.
Unfortunately, the only thing I have tonight is on behalf of staff, just to give our condolences to KC Fire and to the family of Graham Hoffman. As a paramedic myself for nearly 40 years, I've been in very similar situations, and I can't even imagine helping somebody and actually having them attack you in that fashion. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Bob. Item number 10 is consent agenda. Madam Clerk, could you please explain and read the consent agenda?
A consent agenda allows the city council to consider and approve routine items of business without discussion. Any member of the city council, the city staff, or the public may request removal of any item from the consent agenda and request that it be considered under the regular agenda if discussion or debate of the item is desired. Items not removed from the consent agenda will stand approved upon motion by any council member, second unanimous vote, to approve the consent agenda as published or modified. Consent agenda. Consider special event permits. Linden Square, North Kansas City School District end-of-year celebration for employees and their families, Friday, May 9, 2025, 11 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. Public Works Facility, brush drop-off for Gladstone residents, Friday, May 2 and Saturday, May 3, 2025, 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Document shredding event for Gladstone residents, Saturday, May 17, 2025, 9 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Hobby Hill Park, Dynamic Disc, Kansas City, Missouri LLC, doing business as Nexus Disc Golf, is sponsoring two events, a two-round disc golf tournament, Springtime Love Doubles, Saturday, May 17, 2025, 7 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., and a one-round tee times PDGA A-tier disc golf tournament, Kansas City Flying Disc Challenge, Saturday, June 7, 2025, 7 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Consider monthly financial update, March year-to-date 2025. Resolution R-25-22, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a time and materials contract with the Deister Company Incorporated in the total amount not to exceed $32,800 for the Water Treatment Plant East Primary Basin Bearing Replacement, Project WP 2492G.
Mayor,
Thank you. Ma'am,
going to motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
if I may please first ask if there's anyone in the audience, or any staff, or any council member who would like an item removed from the consent agenda? We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a second. Motion and second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved as presented. Item number 11 is Resolution R-25-23, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 in the amount of $106,290 to the contract with Fleshman Construction Incorporated for the Northeast 76 Terrace Storm Drainage and Parking Improvements Project CP 2531.
Mayor Smith,
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the adoption of Resolution R-25-23.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Resolution R-25-23. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 12. Chris Williams, our city attorney, will you please explain item number 12 and how we got to where we are?
Thank you, Mayor. Item 12 is an ordinance that's on your agenda tonight for adoption. This starts with the municipal election that was held on April 8th for a council seat. Unofficial results from the Clay County Election Board showed Ms. Gibson as the candidate receiving the most votes. Thereafter, staff proceeded with drafting an ordinance for the April 14th council meeting 2 weeks ago, declaring the results of the election and that Ms. Gibson would be elected. However, on April 11th, city staff became aware that Ms. Gibson had unpaid city taxes at the time of the April 8th election. Section 77.380 of the state statute states that no person shall be elected to any office who shall, at the time, be in arrears for any unpaid city taxes. And there's also a city code provision that has the identical sentence. The case law is clear in Missouri that the phrase "at the time" means prior to when the polls close on election day, not when the results are certified by the election board. And case law in Missouri also makes it clear that the candidate receiving the second most votes is not elected to the office in this situation. Instead, the office is considered vacant. So in light of all this, the ordinance that was on the agenda for the April 14th council meeting was revised to reflect this situation. It was placed on the agenda for the meeting that night. And it was placed on the agenda on April 14th because the state law says that terms of office of those who are elected begin on the first Monday after the election. However, we have to balance that with the fact that the council cannot declare results of an election until the election authority, which in our case is the Clay County Election Board, has certified the vote totals as final. The city always places an ordinance declaring the results on the agenda for the first Monday meeting after the election in the event the certified results are received from the election board prior to the meeting. As you all will recall, we had this same situation last year. We had an ordinance ready to go at the beginning of the meeting. We had to pull it off because sometimes we don't get the results from the election board prior to the meeting, but we're just trying to be prepared. So in this case, this year, the certified results were not received prior to the meeting. So as you know, at the beginning of the last meeting, that ordinance was removed from the agenda. The certified final election results were posted by the Clay County Election Board on April 16th, and as a result, we now have an ordinance on your agenda this evening for council consideration. This ordinance sets forth the certified vote totals for the candidates, but also notes that due to the candidate receiving the most votes not being in compliance with state law and city code requirements, the council is unable to declare any candidate as elected to the office, thereby creating a vacancy in the office. And just so everyone knows, state law provides that vacancies in elected offices for third-class cities shall be filled by the city council. It does not establish a time frame or a procedure for this. It just says the city council shall select a successor who shall serve until the next regular election. In our case is April of next year. So until a successor is selected and appointed, the Missouri Constitution states that the previous office holder shall continue to serve, in effect, hold over in office until a successor is appointed or elected. That's why Mr. Garnos is still here and has the right to be here until you fill the position by appointment. So the bottom line, though, is the ordinance before you this evening reflects the application of Missouri law to the facts in this situation. Legally, the city council does not have the authority and cannot exercise discretion to deviate from state law that prevents a person from being elected to office if at the time of the election they are in arrears for any unpaid city taxes. So that's how we got to where we are tonight, at least from a legal standpoint. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of Mr. Williams? Okay, thank you. Chair would entertain a motion.
Mayor Smith,
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to place bill number 25-11 on its first reading.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk, please read the
Mayor, I'll
bill.
be abstaining.
Okay, yes, sir, thank you.
First reading, bill number 25-11, an ordinance declaring the results of the Gladstone general municipal elections held on Tuesday, April 8, 2025, as certified by the Clay County Board of Election Commissioners and declaring that no candidate has been elected to the city council in said election, creating a vacancy in the office.
Mayor Smith,
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to accept the first reading of bill number 25-11, waive the rule and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the first reading, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm abstaining again, please.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Second reading, bill number 25-11, an ordinance declaring the results of the Gladstone general municipal elections held on Tuesday, April 8, 2025, as certified by the Clay County Board of Election Commissioners and declaring that no candidate has been elected to the city council in said election, creating a vacancy in the office.
Mayor Smith,
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to accept the second and final reading of bill number 25-11 and enact it as ordinance number 4.695.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Through the second and final reading, act as ordinance number 4.695. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Spallo?
Aye.
Councilman Garnos?
Abstain, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Thank you. So going forward, the council will develop a process by which we wish to make an appointment to the seat. In the meantime, as you heard the attorney say, according to state statute, Councilman Garnos shall, and the reason for that is the continuity in government, so that the city has full representation. So once we have a process designed for what the replacement will look like, we'll be very transparent with that, and everyone will know what we're doing. You are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you're not, feel free to leave. We don't have a time frame. This is just now getting to be a council issue, and we don't. And there's no statutory requirement for that, but I can't imagine that it will go on very long. Item number 13, first reading bill number 25-12. An ordinance directing the city manager to execute a cooperative agreement with the North Kansas City School District for providing a school resource officer at Antioch Middle School.
Mayor Smith,
Councilman Davis.
I move to place bill number 25-12 on its first reading.
Second?
A motion and second to place bill number 25-12 on its first reading. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk.
First reading, bill number 25-12, an ordinance directing the city manager to execute a cooperative agreement with the North Kansas City School District for providing a school resource officer at Antioch Middle School.
Mayor Smith,
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the first reading of bill number 25-12, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second?
A motion and a second to approve the first reading bill number 25-12, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk.
Second reading, bill number 25-12, an ordinance directing the city manager to execute a cooperative agreement with the North Kansas City School District for providing a school resource officer at Antioch Middle School.
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the second and final reading of bill number 25-12 and enact the bill as ordinance 4.696.
Second?
A motion and a second through the second and final reading of bill number 25-12 and enacted as ordinance number 4.696. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Spallo?
Aye.
Councilman Garnos?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Item 14 is a public hearing to rezoning for property located at 6880 and 6900 North Oak Trafficway, totaling 8.83 acres. Process will be, we'll hear a presentation from staff, then open the public hearing for anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the rezoning, and then anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the rezoning.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. City staff proposes rezoning 8.83 acres of city-owned property in downtown Gladstone from its current zoning designations to commercial C3 to enhance marketability and attract large-scale commercial development. This strategic move along North Oak Trafficway aligns with the city's comprehensive plan for fostering economic growth and downtown revitalization by offering shovel-ready property for diverse uses such as indoor and outdoor entertainment, hospitality, retail, medical, and restaurants as supported by recent community surveys. The Planning Commission unanimously supports and approved the rezoning with a vote of 11 yeses to 0 nos. The rezoning to C3 builds on Gladstone's recent redevelopment successes, including the Heights at Linden Square, the Northland Innovation Center, and the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott, by enabling larger scale projects that enhance job creation, tax revenue, and foot traffic. This designation supports modern infrastructure and scalability, connecting revitalization efforts across North Oak Trafficway and positioning downtown Gladstone as a thriving community hub with increased appeal to high-caliber developers in a competitive regional market. Thank you.
Is there any questions of Mr. Greer? Hearing none. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this rezoning application? Anyone opposed? We shall close the public hearing. Item number 15, first reading bill number 25-13, an ordinance approving a zoning change for city-owned property totaling 8.83 acres generally located at 6880 and 6900 North Oak Trafficway within the city of Gladstone, Missouri.
Mayor Smith,
Councilman Davis.
I move to place bill number 25-13 on its first reading.
Second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. The first reading of bill number 25-13. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk, please read the bill.
First reading, bill number 25-13, an ordinance approving a zoning change for city-owned property totaling 8.83 acres, generally located at 6880 and 6900 North Oak Trafficway within the city of Gladstone, Missouri.
Mayor Smith,
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the first reading of Bill number 25-13, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second.
A motion and a second to accept the first reading of Bill number 25-13, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Madam Clerk?
Second reading, Bill number 25-13, an ordinance approving a zoning change for city-owned property totaling 8.83 acres, generally located at 6880 and 6900 North Oak Traffic Way within the city of Gladstone, Missouri.
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the second and final reading of Bill number 25-13 and enact the bill as ordinance 4.697.
Second.
Motion and a second to accept the second and final reading of Bill number 25-13. Excuse me again. Enact as ordinance number 4.697. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Spallo?
Aye.
Councilman Garnos?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Item 16, is there any other business from the council this evening? None? 17, we shall stand adjourned.